Welcome back, and thank you for joining us for another one of Mike and Billy's Whiskey Reviews. I am Mike Winston, this is
Billy
Hill. And today, on our special 2016 Halloween edition...
Scary
movie, scary scotch, we are bringing you one of the most feared scotches in the world today.
World-renowned fear. It's
And
like a stat times 10.
And also one of my favorite scotches.
And also
That
my
is
Halloween costume.
The Ardbeg Uigeadail. Now
From the
Isle of Islay, our favorite island.
which we know is haunted.
Ever. It might not be haunted.
Haunted with Scotch drinkers.
Haunted with peaty whiskey.
Yeah!
Bang! So, the island of Islay, arguably my favorite island in Scotland.
My favorite island I've ever been to.
That and Orkney.
That I've never been to.
Orkney's, that's Highland Park. We'll get to that later. The Isle of Islay has some famous distilleries that are known for their heavily peated, smoky whiskeys, and this one is one of my favorites. This is the Ardbeg Uigeadail. The Uigeadail is simply the name of the loch which Ardbeg takes its water from. You will also...
Do they also get their peat from there?
I think there is some peat in the water, but it's so small. That's a good question.
Where they cut their big chunks of peat out.
Nah, the main peatiness of the whiskey comes from...
You ever seen how they do it?
Oh yeah.
It's interesting.
We'll post the video.
It's fascinating.
No, the main peatiness of the whiskey comes from actually curing the barley, the smoking of the barley before it's distilled. The water, the ppm level, which is the peat, the smokiness, the ppm. The ppm level in the water is so low, I don't really think it makes any difference. But
I got a PP level right now.
I might be wrong about that. One other thing I want to tell you about the Ardbeg Uigeadail is this is what's referred to as a NAS, or a non-age statement whiskey. And all that means is they don't tell you how old the whiskey is.
It could be 100 years old.
Debatable. Doubtful. But in Scotland, know that to be a single malt Scotch whiskey, it has to be aged at least 3 years. So we know the whiskey in this bottle, the youngest whiskeys in this bottle, are at least 3 years old. Now, from the research I've been able to do, since I've had a lot of these, this is roughly 9, 10, 11-year-old whiskey with some older sherried whiskeys to kind of round off the rougher edges. I've read that roughly 10% of the whiskey in here is from ex-sherry barrels, and the rest of it's from ex-bourbon barrels. Interesting fun fact about Ardbeg. It was kind of, it stopped producing, meaning it stopped making new whiskey. And
it's distracting when she plays with her boob.
So you know we have people in the background in some of these videos, which we may have mentioned before, and girls will do crazy things to try to distract us. I am a professional.
Because we're famous.
I'm a professional drinker, so I will not be distracted until this is over.
Squirrel!
Amen.
You didn't even, first of all, can we just, I feel like we're not connecting.
With the audience?
No, me and you, man. Did you even notice I got a haircut yesterday?
Oh, it is shorter.
Shit!
It is shorter. Forgive me.
I told you how nice your shirt was and how your pecs look really good.
Appreciate it.
You don't even notice the haircut?
I do now.
I had to point it out, though!
Is that a dye job?
No, it's natural.
We digress. Anyway, the Ardbeg Uigeadail. Ardbeg was a distillery that was not producing sometime during the 90s, which just seems insane to me. But apparently there was enough demand for this whiskey in the 90s, so they weren't producing whiskey. So they don't have a wide range. They have roughly, am I boring you?
No,
They have.
I've drank so much whiskey now because something happened in our earlier experience. It was...
It's okay.
There was candy corn involved, and it was...
We will persevere. Know that Ardbeg just really started producing again, I think, in the late 90s, early 2000s, so they don't have a wide range of whiskeys. Basically, they have the 10-year-old, and they also have the Uigeadail and the Corey Vrecken. Recently, they came out with a 21-year-old, which I'd love to get my hands on, and
that sounds
special editions every
ridiculous.
It does sound... It's ridiculously priced,
Woo!
$500 US.
So, for the first time ever, I've also had this one. I love this. I love this. Lagavulin, my absolute favorite of all time ever. Lagavulin, obviously. But I do remember having this. I like the little A, looks like a Viking helmet. It's pretty sweet.
It's nice packaging.
It's a great package.
It's really,
it's solid.
They do a good job of marketing Ardbeg.
Yeah.
I think it's,
So I'm really, really excited to pour this in the glass, and I'm just gonna do it without asking Mike.
I think this is distributed by Hennessy. I think Hennessy, if anyone in the U.S. is familiar with Hennessy, they actually own the Ardbeg distillery.
Really?
They do.
I did not know
Moet
that.
Hennessy, believe they're a French company.
This guy's getting lonely.
A few more things I want to mention about Ardbeg before we pour it is this is a non-chilled filtered and non-colored whiskey, and those are things we really appreciate. The reason why those things are important is when you don't chill filtered whiskey, you don't bring down the temperature in the filtering process, it leaves more taste. And this being at a 54.2% ABV,
I'm gonna be hammered.
roughly just under 110 proof. This is a very strong whiskey, and the reason why we know it's non-chill filtered is that high strength. Now, this is not to be confused with a cask strength whiskey. This, if you get Ardbeg Uigeadail, it doesn't matter what year you get it, it is always going to be 54.2%, meaning they watered it down to get that consistent ABV, as opposed to a true cask strength, say like a Lafroig 10-year-old, Lagavulin 12-year-old, which will be a different ABV every single year depending on what the cask produces, what it gives you. So even though this is a very high strength, this is not a cask strength whiskey. Again, roughly 10% of this whiskey comes from ex-sherry barrels.
What do you pay for that?
This is a very good bargain. In the United States and Central Ohio, again, duty-free, free of tax. This is $79 US currently right now in the year of 2016 in October.
Cheaper than Lagavulin.
It is cheaper than Lagavulin. Well, Lagavulin's 16 years old. I doubt if any of this whiskey in here is 16 years old. But I gotta tell you, even though you and I are both huge Lagavulin fans, Ardbeg does a fantastic whiskey. And if anybody from Ardbeg is listening there, we thank you. And we like every bit of the whiskeys that you produce. I love the 10-year-old. I love the Uigeadail. I love the Corey Brecken.
I love boobs.
We love boobs. I also love a couple of the specialty ones. There was one recently at Dark Cove that I had tried, which was dynamite.
It sounds like mysterious. Like a spy movie, like Dark Cove.
It's dark. It's a dark cove. So Ardbeg, thank you. Moet Hennessy Company, thank you for giving us this fantastic spirit.
We literally love you. A lot.
We do love you. Non-chill filtered, which is a huge bonus. Non-colored, which is something I did not touch on earlier. What essentially what non-colored means is
You did.
a lot of. Oh, I didn't explain what it meant. A lot of companies will not tell you because in the States we don't make them. We don't demand they tell us, like in Germany or in Sweden, that it has caramel colorant. But this one is from my understanding, is non-chill filtered and non-colored. So this is what you physically get out of the barrel itself. And considering
there's like no legs.
well, we gotta swear a little better. Considering that this is a lovely color. This is maybe a gold +1, maybe. This is bordering on light caramel, if you can see that here. And what we're gonna do is just lightly swirl it around the glass to try to pick up what kind of legs it has in it.
It's almost a beer color, like a shitty white trash beer, like High Life.
We mean that not in a negative way. Shitty white trash.
'Cause that's
beer.
all I drink.
Yeah, shitty white trash beer is what we do in the Midwest. Not a lot of legs on this, I gotta tell you.
Oh,
The legs are so.
Man, did you smell that? Like, as soon as I smelled it, I just thought of Jesus.
In what way? Like praying,
Non-sexual.
Praying like. Thank you.
Non-sexual.
Like praying for forgiveness.
Orangey.
Oh my God.
Nutty.
So smoky.
It literally tingles the nose. It tickles. It dances across the hairs of your nose if you're an old man like us.
This is an aggressive nose on a Scotch.
But
this is super aggressive.
I'm super not mad about it.
You know what it smells like? You ever drive down a road where they were just paving with tar?
Oh,
This smells like fresh road tar. I know that sounds horrific.
but also like you drove through an orange.
Right, like a sweet road tar with
Captain Crunch.
with a super smoky, sweet road tar.
With like a Captain Crunchy kind of.
It does have like a cereal note to it.
Cornflakes.
Cereal note with.
I love it.
There's something else I'm not really picking up here. There's some or not picking up. I can't articulate it properly.
Let me try again.
Burnt sugar. Burnt dark brown sugar.
Your mom was trying to make some caramel. She fucked up, burnt it.
Burn it.
Without the butter.
So yeah, for those of you who cook, you ever like make some type of chocolate dish with sugar and get a little bit, and it doesn't quite make it all into the pan, or some of it falls over on the stove,
Yes.
and then it starts just melting on the stove, which will be terrible to clean up later.
And probably the fire alarm's gonna go off.
Oh, but that's what
Dog
it
freaks
smells
out.
like. In a good way.
You nailed it on that one. You nailed it on that one.
Oh, in a good way.
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah.
In a good way. I mean, I know it's when I say things like road tar and smoke and burnt sugar and chocolate, like necessarily in your mind you don't think of that as a positive thing, but this is the most positive
It's good.
burnt sugar, road tar, smoke I've ever smelled.
I want to smell more.
God, it's got a luscious, you know, wait a second. And in the back, I pick up some fruitiness, some dark fruits, like a fig. Like a fig covered in chocolate and burnt sugar. And smoke and road tar, all on top of it.
We should make that. That should be a dish.
You ever had a jalapeno popper? You know, like the jalapenos in and they got the breading on top? This is like chocolate with sugar that is brown sugar that is liquefied because of the heat drizzled on it. And inside the chocolate, it's hollow and it's liquid smoke road tar.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can describe it.
Yeah.
This smells